Good morning. I'm Bob Brown. My Buddhist name is BopOn. This Dharma talk started out as a letter to myself. As a former academic, I often do that to clarify to myself how I feel about a subject that's bothering me. Then I look to the scriptures or other places for guidance. In this case, perhaps what I thought and what I found may be useful to others. When I think about my Buddhist practice, I sometimes feel inadequate. These feelings have become more pronounced since I retired. When I was working and had kids at home, I always had an excuse for feelings of inadequacy because I could tell myself that I was busy and that I only had limited time to devote to a variety of aspects of my life. But now that I'm retired, that excuse has faded away. And now I see others who attend nearly all of the temple services every week. They might include the Saturday and the Sunday services, the Tuesday evening meditation, one of the Thursday Dharma discussion groups, plus the virtual and in-person retreats, and even the daily morning meditations at the temple. Wow, I don't do nearly all of that. Some members actually seem to know much of the scripture and remember it by heart. I don't. In fact, sometimes I honestly don't understand the scripture readings. Some I feel are over my head. So am I inadequate in my practice? Am I a good enough Buddhist? Do I try to do more? And how much would be enough? Admittedly, I've had a lifetime of feelings of inadequacy or a lack of self-confidence in many aspects of my life. Schooling, work, certainly parenthood, relationships, and so on. It's as though I've had to prove myself to myself. As someone once said, we have met the enemy and he is us. How many of us are like that? And why? Traditional Buddhist theology would suggest that karma is the reason. Something I did or was done to me in previous lives. And that may be. But I think, for my case at least, it's due to causes and conditions. As the first member of my family to go to college, there was a tremendous pressure on me to succeed and make something of myself. I've had way more successes in my life than failures, but I didn't achieve some of my original goals, or perhaps goals that were set for me by others. And as a result, I've had a tendency to undervalue my accomplishments and to focus on my perceived shortcomings. How many of us are like that? My point today is that none of these feelings of inadequacy are really warranted. Yes, of course, we all have different abilities, different personal interests, and limitations in the various areas of our lives. And our circumstances are different, and they're constantly changing. Most of us still work, perhaps even more than one job. Some of us have children at home, and they rightly take priority over other time and resource options. Some of us have parents or siblings or friends who are in need of our time and our money. I was once told that we all tend to compare the worst in ourselves to the best in others. Aha! That sounds like the concept of ego raising its ugly head. We Buddhists are taught to let go of our egos. There's really no such thing as the self. Your image of yourself is all in your own mind. And the purpose of our practice, whatever that may entail, is to find our own true nature. That's a fundamental concept of one Buddhism. It's why we have our practice. Master Sotasan said, each of us must see past the image of ourselves to see our true nature. He said if we have a practice, we'll be like a carpenter who has a chalk and pencil. He meant that our practice gives us the tools to find ourselves. Well, how do we develop that practice? Master Sotasan talked about people of differing spiritual capacities. He said that people of even low spiritual capacity, but who have a sincerely believing mind, though they may not have self-confidence, their dedicated effort to progress will not cease, since they value the Dharma and sincerely believe in their teacher. Thus, they will ultimately be able to succeed. I often feel that he was speaking directly to me with that comment. So it's okay if I don't understand everything in the scriptures to make progress and ultimately succeed in my path towards Buddhahood and awakening. But again, how much is enough? What if I don't meditate? What if I miss Sunday or Saturday services, or attend one but not both? Master Chonson said that even if we were only to read and apply the essential dharmas of daily life for our whole lives, that would be enough to attain Buddhahood. Those essential dharmas include letting go of disturbances and delusions, wrongdoings, unbelief, greed, laziness, and foolishness. Instead, we should have belief, zeal, questioning, dedication, gratitude, self-reliance, and a readiness to learn and to teach with an eagerness for public spiritedness. Or pretty much just be an honest and moral person. Is that so hard? Master Chonson also said, the great way under heaven is succinct and simple. Those who have taken command of the path of practice distill the essence of the Buddhist canon into a word or two of its main principles and put them into practice. So clearly, there's no score sheet or check-off sheet to determine if you're being a good Buddhist. If you follow the Dharma and have faith in the way, that should be enough. Now, that's not to say that the many offerings of our temple are not important or valuable. Our services, meditations, retreats, discussion groups, readings, and personal counseling all help us to strengthen our knowledge, our belief and faith in the Dharma, strengthen our ties to our Won community, and allow us to progress along the path to Buddhahood. But again, each of us is different in our ability to understand the Dharma and the time we have to commit to Buddhism, and to which aspects of the temple offerings speak to us most clearly. But we should all try to sample all the offerings and decide which ones best become a part of our practice. And finally, Master Chonson offered the following poem. Injury is of one's own making. Grace is originally unlimited. The teachers of good and bad both guide me to goodness. If each and every thought was just like this, we will forever remain at peace. So my sense of inadequacy or my lack of self-confidence in my Buddhist practice and in other things, which are brought on by the way I was raised and a few experiences I've had, is of my own making. It's in my own mind. I don't have to accept it. No one is telling me I'm inadequate, but me. My personal practice, which currently includes Sunday services, a Dharma study group, and reading of a variety of Buddhist teachings, is enough for me. It's my own unique quest to discover my true nature. And it could change. And of course, it's the same for you. We do our best. We learn from the good and bad in others and in ourselves. We have gratitude for what we have, and we are at peace. Thank you.